Hello everybody, it's Emery48 here and welcome back to another Marvel Monday. Today we're going over the originally a Netflix show, Luke Cage. Now before we get into the specific episodes, I've got a couple thoughts on the show overall. I enjoyed it. Music was great throughout. The fight scenes were a bit wonky. It would have been really cool if there was not necessarily Daredevil-esque, but kind of on the level of Daredevil fight scenes, maybe when Punisher fought somebody, because he kind of just walked up to people and slapped them and they fell over. It didn't really get a good fight scene until the last episode, which is unfortunate for an action show. It was a really cool Mafia in Harlem, Godfather show. That was awesome. I loved that. Cornell Stokes was an incredible villain. And Shades was awesome as well. Loved that duo. Very cool. Wasn't as thrilled on Diamondback and Mariah, which is unfortunate because they're the ones alive to carry on the story, if that's where Luke Cage goes in the future. But yeah, it was weird. The show's around Luke Cage, and for the first couple episodes, stuff was just kind of happening around him. It wasn't until a few episodes in where he really started getting involved in the story. So that's interesting. But not a big deal, because it kind of worked out in the end, but that was kind of odd. Episode 1, Moment of Truth. Luke gets a new fling, apparently. Shit goes south in a weapons deal. He's not involved. His new fling is a cop who is investigating the owner of the club Luke works at, who is selling weapons. One of the thieves gets brutally killed by Cornell. One of the people that had been in prison with Luke is working with the club owner. Shades. Wearing shades. Inside at night. Doesn't matter. Luke protects his landlord and her business from the club owner's thugs demanding money. Kind of a dull first episode if you're looking at it as Luke-centric. If you're looking at it at Cornell-centric, it's pretty cool. And at this point, I didn't realize how cool of a character Cornell was. But if you look at the show as based around the Stoke family instead of Luke, the first 6 episodes are great. Episode 2, Code of the Streets. Jesus saves, I don't. That's an incredible line. Terrifying if someone ever says that to you, because you're probably about to die. Stokes is the club owner. And right away, had killed... Not Pops. I wrote down Pops. That's not the right word. Wrote down... somebody in Chico. Oh, I can't read my own handwriting. Stokes' right hand had Pops and Chico. Killed Pops and Chico. Luke witnessed it and saved another boy's life. The story was just around Luke. I guess it was only for an episode. It felt like it was a lot longer. Now he is very involved. Stokes kills his right hand for killing Pop, who was a friend of Stokes as a child. Episode 3, Who's Gonna Take the Weight? Luke robs Chico's cut back off the councilwoman. That was ahead in time. I don't get why they did that. They didn't do it often. But this episode, there's a pre-scene. That's the end of the episode. I didn't need it. Breaks into Stokes' safe houses, doesn't steal the money, broke the guns and tipped off the police. Stokes is an incredible character. The fight scene at the Fort Knox is a bit janky. Again, just kind of hitting people and they just fall over. Walks in with a car door to block bullets while you're bulletproof. Feels weird, but okay. Steals a bag of money from the vault, tips the cops again, and they take the rest of the money. Misty's partner killed Chico after he agreed to testify against Stokes. The cop told Stokes that Luke Cage is causing all of Stokes' problems. Also gives Stokes Luke's address. Luke gives the money he took to help fix up Pop's barbershop. Stokes fires a rocket launcher into the restaurant Luke was eating in. It was his landowner's restaurant. It was just him and the landlord in the restaurant. The entire apartment above it collapsed as well, which seems a bit excessive. And I don't know how no one else was hurt in this. It was just Luke and the landlord. But hey. Episode 4, Step in the Arena. Luke's a former cop in Georgia. We never see a scene of him being a cop in Georgia at all, which is interesting. But he was. Luke's wife was the counselor in prison, which is weird. Luke and his landlord survive because of Luke. Luke joined a fight club ruled by the cops while in prison. This episode was done really well with going back and forth between times. It felt very natural. Luke got his powers from a test gone wrong after an injury in prison. Luke digs him and his landlord out of the rubble. Episode 5, Just Get a Rep. Luke and Stokes duel throughout the episode, even at Pops' funeral with speeches. Misty does not like Luke's approach. Claire has moved back to Harlem, which is apparently where she's from. Episode 6, Suckers Need a Bodyguard. Stokes shoots the dirty cop when he demands more money for the guns back. Claire talks with Luke. They found the detective in Pops' barbershop, and Claire starts working on his bullet wound. Luke chokes detective when he says he killed Chico. Claire gets him to not kill him. Scarf, the detective, says he has kept evidence to take down Stokes. Misty arrests the lieutenant, who was also working with Stokes. Stokes' politician cousin, Mariah, gets exposed during a live interview. Misty finds them as Scarf dies. Luke has his evidence, and Stokes is arrested. Halfway through the season, and it feels like we're at a wrap-up point. Can't be true. Episode 7, Manifest. Stokes is released. They only had substantial evidence. Stokes asks Luke for a parlay. Stokes blackmails Luke because he knows Luke broke out of prison. Seagate. Luke destroys Domingo's guns he bought off Stokes. Stokes got killed by his cousin, Mariah, after she got kicked out of her political office. Misty is being investigated because her partner was dirty. Luke gets shot by a sniper round that actually penetrated his skin, called a Judas bullet, and he has been shot in the belly. I will say I really liked Stokes. When that conversation started, I knew he was going to die. It was kind of an either he's going to die or he's going to kill her. It was more likely that he was going to die. And you know what? Throughout this episode, throughout the show, he wasn't much of a bad guy. Followed the rules of crime. So that's good. But the way he spoke to Mariah in that final conversation, not surprised. Kinda insensitive. So, that's a thing. Episode 8, Blowing Up the Spot. Luke calls an ambulance. Luke calls an ambulance. He didn't call an ambulance. Why did I write that? That's really odd of me to have written. Claire and Luke get in an ambulance of someone that Claire knew. It gets hit by a grenade launcher. A new person is doing the attacking. Shades helps Mariah cover up who is responsible. Misty investigates Stokes' death. There's a false witness, Candace, who knew Luke from the club, from his time working at the club, who claimed she saw Luke kill Stokes. Shades takes over Stokes' business. Mariah gets the club. Misty finds Luke and Claire. They get shot at again. The shooter takes Misty. He knocks her out and leaves. The attacker is Stryker. Willis Stryker? I think that's his name. also known as Diamondback, the one providing the guns to Stokes throughout this whole season. Luke's childhood friend / brother? Misty attacks Claire in interrogation, and the new chief, not new chief, she's like a inspector, I guess. I don't know what she really is. But that's the thing. We never see the new chief. Don't know why. Unless he's in that room with the people at one point, but he never speaks. The new chief, inspector, breaks it up. Diamondback escapes after a fight with Luke. Mariah is a full-on mob boss now. Diamondback is Luke's brother. Luke didn't know. He shoots him with another bullet, and Luke falls into a trash truck that drives away with Luke in the back. Episode 9, DWYCK. Misty is benched. Luke beats up 2 cops that try to arrest him and take their car. Mariah has Domingo order a meeting with the other family heads. Claire drives Luke to Georgia to get help from the prison doctor that gave him his powers originally. Misty is reinstated to help bring in Luke. Diamondback kills some of the family heads. Doctor attempts to use boiling acid to get through Luke's skin. Luke flatlines and his skin was still too hard. Episode 10, Take It Personal. Claire gets Luke's heart beating by throwing something that looks like a toaster into the acid bath. Diamondback attacks a cop pretending to be Luke with a glove weapon. The cop died. Mariah is not happy with Diamondback. Cops start roughing up random civilians looking for Luke. Cop beat up a kid. Luke finds out Reva was in on the experiments even though she said she wasn't involved. Luke destroys the doctor's lab and takes his research. Misty knows Diamondback killed the cop. The doctor made a copy of the research, which is still intact and readable. Luke's priest dad cheated on his mom and had Diamondback with his parish secretary. So that's great. Who needs to trust you when you have power? Another great line from a Stokes family member, this time by Mariah. Misty confronts Diamondback. He shoots her. Luke gets her to marginal safety, and it was all during Mariah's anti-Luke Cage press conference rally at the club. Episode 11, Now You're Mine. Luke takes Misty to a prohibition cellar below the kitchen. Claire finds them. Luke goes upstairs to confront Diamondback and free the hostages. Misty and Claire fight Shades and cuff him to a pole. Mariah sells weapons to the police that can penetrate Luke's skin, the Judas bullets, for Diamondback. She is the seller. Diamondback escapes. Most of Stokes' old employees get arrested along with Luke and Shades. Episode 12, Soliloquy of Chaos. Luke broke out of the convoy. A cop that knew Pop caught up to him, but let him go. The girl who lied about Luke told Misty the truth. People are buying hoodies with fake bullet holes to help Luke blend in. Diamondback bails out Shades and tries to have him killed. Shades kills 2 new hires and Zip, who was the new Shades for Diamondback. Mariah knows the girl lied. Her assistant is now getting in on the dirty business and then watched Candace talk to Misty. Turk tells Luke Turk is from Daredevil and Hell's Kitchen, and for whatever reason they brought him into Luke Cage, and I'm okay with it. He's a funny character that they randomly bring in, and I'm not opposed. He tells Luke where Diamondback is. Domingo goes after Diamondback, and Luke finds Domingo's gang and Diamondback's bodyguards, including a dying Domingo, which I did like Domingo's character too. Domingo and Stokes was a cool duo of family heads, and they're both dead, so that's great. Diamondback blows up the warehouse. Luke gets Domingo out, who dies shortly after. Shades was going to kill Stokes, but Mariah did it before he had to. Shades and Mariah at Pop's barber offer proof that Luke was originally framed by Diamondback as a way to get Luke to go after Diamondback for them. Misty busts the meeting and tries to arrest Mariah. Then Diamondback interrupts the meeting with a grenade. He also has a super suit on and begins a fight with Luke inside the barbershop, which the guy who had renovated the barbershop was not all too happy about. And I can't blame him. Episode 13, You Know My Steez. Luke and Diamondback fight in Pops, destroy the place. The fight spills onto the street. Luke wins. Misty arrests Mariah and Diamondback. Mariah says everything she blamed on Luke was actually Diamondback. Misty shows Mariah proof that she killed Stokes. Shades picked up Misty's phone at the barbershop during the fight and killed Candace. Mariah is let go because their proof is dead. The inspector blames Misty for Candace's death and Mariah being freed. Misty is upset because she knows it's true. She went around the system, so now she blames the system for not working, but she went around the system, so that's why the system's not working. Got a point there, Inspector. Luke is arrested by Georgia police as Carl Lucas, his original name. He and Claire kiss before he is taken away. Harlem's Paradise reopens again. Always great music in the club. Old man at Pop's barbershop finds the file that proves Carl Lucas's innocence. Mariah gives Shades a weird kiss at the end. There was tension between them, like sexual tension there. The whole time. That was weird. Diamondback is being treated by the doctor that gave Luke his powers, which is terrifying. He'll come back next season and try and kill him again, which is kind of repetitive, but it's Marvel, so what more can I expect? Misty lurks in the crowd at Harlem's Paradise and just watched Mariah and Shades upstairs in VIP. I was honestly expecting her to just go and kill one of them. Who knows if that's not going to happen at some point. But that's Luke Cage, Season 1. I really enjoyed the show. It's not going to break the top couple. That's for sure. Let me take a look at my rankings. It's going to be somewhere in the middle, probably. I liked the show. The story was cool. The fight scenes were bad, though. It's really hard in an action superhero movie to put something high because of with bad fight scenes. It had really good music, but again, fight scenes bad really brings it down. So it'll end up in the middle of TV shows, I think. Let me know what you thought of Luke Cage in the comments down below. Season 1, please. I have not gotten to Season 2 yet. That's all I have for today's video. Thank you everybody so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.